Welcome. This session is about how to deploy and configure quote management. Earlier, Erik showed you a demonstration of how quote management is done to the Windows side or the SuperOffice client. I'm going to dig into the admin client to configure all these configurables in the solution and where to do the general settings of the quote management. Before we start on the demo, Øyvind is going to show some presentation first.
Yep, I get to do the boring part, then Jan do the demo afterwards. Not very big agenda, a big conceptual overview at first. There will be some repetition for you, but that's nice. And of course what's new in the back, and of course the demo by Jan.
So please feel free to just ask questions on the way. We try to answer it as good as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we also have Eric with us in the back somewhere. There you are. So he can also help us out if there are any questions. So, as Eric said, quote can be run either standalone or connected with an ERP system or with then multiple clients. We are going to show you how that is done. And then again, you can run this out of the box or customize according to your needs. We ship one version where you can run it as it is, but hopefully most of our customers would like to configure it with the way they want to work. And then we, as consultants, can do a lot of configuring in both SuperOffice and for you who are programming the connectors, program after their needs. This is another way of seeing the quote. You have seen another one almost like this, but SuperOffice are on the red side and the ERP systems are on the green side. And the partners are delivering both the quote connector and the sync connector in towards SuperOffice. We are providing the web services API through the net server, and the partners are programming the connectors to the ERP systems. So everyone understands this drawing and understands what this is? Yeah?
What is ERP?
Wrong session.
Okay, then there are some new licenses. There were questions about the licensing in the last session. There are some server licenses, the ERP synchronization and the sales quote management. These are site licenses. And then you have the user license, the sale quote access license. That's needed per user. You don't need a sale quote access to view the quote, but if you want to create a new quote, you need the license, so that you can have users in SuperOffice without the quote access license, but they can see every quote in the system. When it comes to price, some of you have maybe seen the prices already, and I think Eric said it also, but for the SuperOffice quote management, their on-premise price will be 1,500 NOK or 190 euros per user, and the rental price are 93 NOK or 12 euros. That's the user count.
So you need a user license, you able to log into SuperOffice and have this quote license as well. So you need a user license to SuperOffice, and then you add the quote license also.
And if you are going to integrate with an ERP system, you also need the integration server, which is 5,000 NOK or euro 630, or the rental price 310 or euro 40. And in addition to this is what you have to buy from SuperOffice. So if you are going to integrate with, for example, Axapta, you also need to buy the quote connector from a partner, for example, Advisa, to connect to the system. But you also need this license from SuperOffice. And the licensing from the partners will be shown, I guess, in the sessions on the third day. But this is what you need from SuperOffice.
So this is basically open up SuperOffice database for using integration towards SuperOffice and also quote management. So this is what is handled inside SuperOffice. Then you need the partner connector to connect to Axapta, Navision, and so forth. That's a separate pricing.
Okay, so with quotes and with 7.5, there are a couple of new tables in SuperOffice. In fact, there's 53 new tables in SuperOffice. So you have a lot to dig into. But to just show you what we have made extra in SuperOffice, we have renamed a couple of tables, a couple of obsolete tables in SuperOffice. We have used them for the quote tables in specifics, and also some price lists and products. That's the ones we have renamed or has been hidden in the system. Then we have a couple of new product tables, category, family, and type of product, and the linking of those tables. We have the ERP tables in the system now for the connections and connectors, and the containing of the external keys in the different systems. Also a sync log, which contains the log of the what amid syncing. And then you have every table regarding payment, delivery, and pricing, also tables in the system. And the rest of the tables. I have also some regarding the EJ category grouping, for example. So there are a lot of new tables in the system that you need to look into. And of course, all of this will be provided on DevNet when ready. And not just new tables, but there has been done a lot of changes in the existing tables as well. For example, you have a new field in the contact table, active ERP links, which shows the number of ERP sync connections this record has synced with. You can have different or more than one, as well as for the person table, as well as for the project sale, as well as EJ message, tickets, mailing filter, extra fields, and the list goes on. It's a pretty long list of changes in the database, and this will also be available on DevNet for you to read. So if you need to understand the complexity of the changes, you will have to read this complete list of the changes, and you will get that. Okay, there are also some new list items in SuperOffice when it comes to quotes. For example, we have the sale type stage quote, where you can define quote as a part of the sale types. We will come back to that in a live demo with Jan. We have also 4 new list items concerning quotes, and then it is delivery terms, delivery type, payment terms, and payment types. And then you have 5 new product lists concerning category, family, price unit, subscription unit, and type. These are all configurable lists, as you all know them in SuperOffice. Any questions to this? No? Okay, then there's a whole new element in the SuperOffice admin client, which is the quote sync button. It's called quote sync. And on that button you have the 4 sections: ERP connections, SuperOffice products, settings, and sync. The sync option is only available in the web admin of SuperOffice. You will see it in the Windows admin, but if you want to make changes to the sync section, you have to do it in the web admin. The ERP connections contains the available quote connectors and also the ERP connections to that connector. Then you have the SuperOffice products, where you can have your product catalog or your price list. This is where you add, you can have several price lists, as Erik showed you. You can add them here. In Beta 2, there is no way to import a price or product list, and hopefully we will get this in by the release, as Erik said. That could be an option, of course. Yeah. Then you have the settings tab, we have the general settings for quote. You can specify here if you want to allow a discount on total value, not just on the product specifics. You can also set the settings for the different sale types in your database. And you have one field where you can change all the ERP specifics, which is defined in this dialog. As you saw from Eric's demonstration, where he had a details pane on the product, the fields you specify here as show field will be available on the details panes on the product. And if you have connected your SuperOffice database towards several ERP systems, this will specify for all of the ERP systems in SuperOffice. And here you also can specify if the fields should be editable or mandatory. If you click on the sale type, you will have 3 new panes on the type, which is quote attachments, where you can specify the default attachments and which should be ticked on, as you saw on Eric's example. These are documents that has to be created in SuperOffice upfront before you can attach them here. Then you have the quote defaults, where you specify if you want to allow alternatives on these sale types or not, and the default days the quotation is valid, and of course which templates are going to default on that specific sale type. You also have the quote approval if you want approval on this sale type or if you don't. So here is where you specify that. And then, as well as you have the sync section where you specify your sync connectors. We will also look into that in another section on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, we'll go into details on the sync. This is where you specify the mappings and if you're going to sync company, persons, projects, or what you're going to synchronize. As Eric said, there are some default documents that comes with quotes. We have 3, and that's templates for quote document, the standard quote templates. Then you have the template for quote layout, what's it going to look like with the product lines, and template for order confirmation. You specify that in the admin client, and you tick off if you want it to be a quote document type, and then you specify what type of quote document it should be. Also, the same goes for email. You have 2 types, template for quote email and for order confirmation. Same applies here. As long as you specify the record type as email, you will get the email quote types selected. And this is a very nice template. Of course, you can still use the same variables as you know from before, but then we have added the new template variables, or it's merge fields to be exact, word merge fields. It's called ASPOS Marek, and Marek will have an own session on that tomorrow morning. There's a first session tomorrow regarding template, and he will go into detail on how this works.
No drinking tonight.
All right. As I said, there are, with all this new functionality in the admin client and with the quote system, there are of course a lot of new areas of configuration, and for you as consultants, a lot of more work to do, and that's good. For example, there are a lot of new lists to define, build product register or import, that's up to your, adjust document templates and attachments, of course, configure naming and rules on products, approval of workflow, and default values for various sales types. So there are a lot of new stuff you can do configuring the system, and of course, as Guttorm told you in the roadmap, the SIM is also getting updated with new templates that can handle how we should handle workshop with customers when it comes to this new field. So, any questions to this before we go live?
If
No?
If you have quote management running as a standalone, will you then be able to run it standalone and connect it to the ERP system, so you have ERP system price lists and your own standalone price list? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you can have separate price lists.
But you can have it connected to the ERP system, and maybe there are some product line that does not exist in the ERP system, but only exist in your own SuperOffice. Would that be possible?
Connectors has a property and it says where the products live. Either the products live inside SuperOffice or it lives inside the ERP system.
But products cannot live in both.
Now you have to choose from what directly you want to source your product. You don't have to have an app. You can use products from SuperOffice and place them as orders in your ERP system. But that, of course, depends on how your ERP system are willing to take known articles, or you have to map the articles manually with an article ID or something.
Okay.
Maybe there also are customers that just want the sync, or just want to synchronize the metadata on the customer as well, and not use the quote if they don't. So there are several possibilities. Yeah.
Okay, should we jump into the other lines to see how to configure quotes? Okay, first of all, this is the new tab that you see in the Alvin, Quote Sync. But first of all, you need to go to the licenses and enable quotes. So if I go to licenses, I see that I have a set of new licenses. ERP synchronization and sales quote management. That needs to be enabled in order to get the Quote Sync button available in the SuperOffice admin. And then I also need to actually set a user license on the users who are actually going to create and edit the quotes in SuperOffice. So I go to the license and I tick off sale quote access. Be sure to save. Okay, now John Rowling has the opportunity to create quotes in SuperOffice. But now we need to configure all these configurables inside the SuperOffice, new list items, the document templates, the general settings of the quote, and of course building our product catalog. So, if you first go to the list items, like Even said, there are a couple of new items here, like product catalog, category, where you can categorize your products based on if this is a consumer product, this is a private person or a company, business product. The family, is it okay, do we deliver software from Apple or devices from Apple or Android or Windows? So you can start building these list items. So this is mainly examples here. So basically I have 4 or 3 different ways of categorizing your products. Of course, there may be customers who need more categorizing or less. So we have the options here. But what I want to do is go into, I'm not going to steal Mark's thunder tomorrow, but I'm going to show you these document templates that you have. This is a standard quote in SuperOffice, meaning it's editable. It's just text saying, okay, thank you for your order, here's our delivery terms and so forth. And I have a new checkbox on document dialog stating if this is a quote document. And what kind of quote document type is it? Is it a standard template for quote? Is it a template for quote details, meaning where is the layout going to be? Do you want discount? Do you want thumbnails? Do you want total what and so forth? What kind of templates? And then you have a separate template for order confirmation if you want that. Just going to show you a template for quote details. If I click on edit now, you can see that this is how the template's actually presenting. Seeing we can have a combination of old template variables and new ones, because the new ones are going to fill in the quote details information. And these are based on tables inside Word, merge fields. And all of these will, of course, be pretty filled in when you create the quotes inside SuperOffice. That's all I'm going to say today, Marek. You're going to go deeper into this tomorrow. And also we have this quote email stating if I set that this document type is email and I take off this is a quote document type, then I get two ways of saying, okay, this is a quote template for email or is a quote template for order confirmation. And I can then go in and edit this if I want to, based on what you want to say to the customer. Okay, I need to edit it in some kind of notepad or something like that. So as you can see here, if a customer buys quotes standalone, you have a lot of consultancy hours to create these quote templates, standard and details with the layout, and also the order confirmation. So here is a lot of work based only on the list items and the document. But if we now go to the quote and sync table, you see here that this is available quote connectors. SuperOffice is shipped with a standalone. This is our internal quote connector, meaning it connects to the product registry inside SuperOffice. So if I'm going to deploy another quote connector that's not inside SuperOffice, I need to click on install and it goes to the SLOader tab in SAdmin. Meaning I have two ways of deploying a new quote connector inside SuperOffice. You can either copy it locally to your SuperOffice installation. That's only if you're going to use quote or read quote on travel. Otherwise, you say just dynamic load in when the client starts. So if I have a quote connector that I want to ship or deploy to the clients, I stick off automatically update SuperOffice client. I browse to where I've put my DLL files. So we can say, okay, in SuperOffice, web client, stating that we have quote connectors, and the available DLL files will be here. So if I tick on, for instance, complete products connector, this is a generic connector that I've created, I should be able to see this here instantly. And then I can create an ERP connection to that quote connector. I can just click add here, my new connector. Some description, should it be available for everyone or a specific user group. And you can then put in some kind of attributes or options inside the connector. Save. Now I have actually created a new connector which I can distribute to the clients. So I'm going to show you how this will work out in the SuperOffice client afterwards. Now I have deployed a quote connector. So as you can see, there's not much deployment. You just tick off a DLL file. And configuring quote is just setting a user license. But now you need to build your product register. So I go to the SuperOffice products here. This is my product price list. I would like to call it product catalog instead of price list. Okay, it contains prices and so forth, but it is a product catalog. So I have created one, but I want to add a new one. So I just click on add, and I give it a name. New price list. Okay, there was a question about currency here on the first session. Okay, we will handle currency. If you say, I want this price list to be in euro, and is it an active product catalog or price list, or should you have limited valid? For instance, okay, this is a one-time offer during Christmas or this quarter, then it's not valid anymore. So you can set that if you want. You can start off with a completely new, or you can copy from an existing price list. In this example, I want to copy and start using the products, but I want to convert the NOK prices to euro. And I want to do that. And then all prices in NOK are converted to euro of that currency I wanted to create that price list in. Okay, of course, you need to set some rules in the currency in SuperOffice stating, okay, what is the actual currency of euro or dollars or so forth. But it will do the transformation. Okay. As you can see, we are delivering high-tech phones, smartphones, tablets, and diverse other electronic equipment. So, I want to add a new product. And here is where I start to configure my product. This is a product line. Should it be included in this price list or not? You can have products that's not included in that price list if you want. First of all, I just add a photo. Have images here. Okay. We want to add, for instance, a MacBook Air. Looking good. And then you can have a description of the product. Really nice laptop from Apple. Okay, this code is an internal code. Perhaps maybe a code that you have in your ERP system, or you want to just create your own code here. So we can say, for instance, L001. That's our internal code for this product. What's the name of the product? MacBook Air. What's the unit price of this MacBook? How many euros? Cheap? Okay, and then you can specify the minimum price of the unit if you want to. Okay, we can't sell this for less than 100 euros. And what's our initial cost of that product? You can just add it as well. And then you can start categorizing this. Okay, are these for the business or the consumer market? This is for the business. Product family, okay, it's Apple. Product type, okay, it's a laptop. And all these are list items that I've configured in the admin client for forecasting or searching afterwards in the SuperOffice client. And then you have watt info. We do not calculate that, but you can add it on your product if you want. You have a web address where you can perhaps maybe put in a URL to an online product catalog for more information about this product. And you have 5 set of extra fields that you can configure. I'll come back to that afterwards, but you can state, okay, on this product we need to know the amount of memory or the hard disk or place that you have in mind. So you can put that in. I'm going to show you. And I can just save it. Now I will build a new product in my product catalog. Available. I can just add one more. Just to see. This is a smart TV. Really nice smart TV. Code T, for instance, name. Smart TV. And you can say, okay, we're not going to offer this as a price. We're going to offer this as a subscription. Sorry. Okay, what kind of subscription unit is it? Are going to allow yearly, monthly, weekly, quarterly, based on your, monthly. And okay, the quantity is 1. Okay, you can bundle and say, okay, we're providing licenses, quantity of minimum 5, for instance. You can say, okay, unit price, it's per month, 40 euros. So I'm going to show you now afterwards the calculation here. Product catalog, this is for the business, of course, family, other, product type, TV boxes, no, not really, and save. So this I can do manually, create these product registers, or if I have a connecting to the ERP system, these products will be fetched from the ERP system. Now these live inside SuperOffice. If you go to the settings there, this is where you actually set the general settings for the entire quote, meaning do you want to allow discount on total value? Yes or no? This will be permanent for all quotes created. You can set a default text for the follow-up. When you send a quote, you can set, okay, remind me 2 days before the quote goes out. Okay, what's the default text here? You can specify that here. And also you have some special settings on the sales type. So if I click on open sales types, we have 3 different sales types there. Sales to new customers, existing sale, or cross sale. If I open the sale to new customers, okay, this is, you can link it to guide, of course, but then you have the quote attachments. Do you want to be able to ship or have default document on the quote? Meaning if you sell electronics, perhaps maybe some kind of user manual or user guide on that product is default when you ship the order or the quote. Or if you sell licenses, you have a maintenance agreement and so forth that you want to add. So I can just click on add here, and then it gives me the find document dialog. I want to find all incoming documents. Okay, I found 2. Those 2 I want to add as default document to this quote. Then you have some quote defaults. Should you be allowed to set alternatives? Meaning, should you provide the customers alternatives or not on this specific sale type? It might be that you don't want it on this sale type, but on another sale type you want to allow alternatives. So you can check this out. For how long is the quote valid? How many days? 7 days? And also here you can specify the detailed templates for that sale types. Creating a quote for new customers, we should use this layout, this template. And also, should we allow approval on this quote? No? The sales guy can easily give as much discount as you want, or do you want to have control on it? If you want, you can say, we don't allow total discount over amount of percent, or the total earning is below some kind of percentage. That you can specify per quote. Are you with me? Yeah? So as you can see, there are a lot of moving parts, a lot of parts you can do standalone in SuperOffice quote. So basically, if you sell standalone quote, you need consultancy to go in and configure the system. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. No approval. Okay, if we go back to the quote, there was a little thing here. The product dialog settings that Øyvind was referring to. If I click on this one, I get all the fields available inside SuperOffice on the quote. Meaning if you have quote standalone or you have a quote connector, these are the fields that you can configure. No more, no less. And the red ones, they are mandatory fields that will always be shown in the product dialog. And you can say, is it edible or mandatory? If you go back here, a little further down, these extra fields here, like I showed you on the product, here you can specify, I want to add an extra field on product catalog. And it's not going to be named extra field. This is going to be hard disk space size, for instance. And you can also specify tooltip, the size of the hard disk. Little large. Okay, now I've said that, okay, I'm going to add an extra field on the product, and it's going to be hard disk size. If I go inside the SuperOffice client, just start it again. For those of you who are not seeing, okay, this is a lot of things to configure, we're going to have a session tomorrow where we get hands-on on this quote settings. We're going to have a present to a case, and you're going to start working on it hands-on. That's the only way to get to know it. Now you just get an overview of all the configurables inside the system. Okay, just to show you these settings that I've put on. This is in SuperOffice. I'm going to create a sale on Coca-Cola. New products. I don't specify any amount here. I can just put in euros here, so we can choose. There. And Linda Baxter. Then I have this new panel, quote. Or to create a new quote. Okay. Now I get an option, okay, do you want to use the default SuperOffice connector? Or, this is grayed out, of course, my new connector. That is the complete connector that I just added, deployed into the SuperOffice clients. But there are some mismatch between the price list there. But if you have multiple quote connectors, you will be presented with which quote or which connector do you want to use for this quote.
But does that mean that you can both have products inside SuperOffice and outside at the same time? You can choose between them?
Yes, but then they live inside the separate database. Then, okay, you have a product history in SuperOffice, fine, you can use that, but then you don't have anything to do with the ERP system. And if you have a separate connector, a quote connector, you can choose that one. But those products will be in the ERP. And if I go to this create quote here, first of all, I just create the default quote document like we do today on the sale. New products. Create. This is just a standard template that we use in our business. Dear Linda, as a result, last meeting, blah, 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 we present you this proposal. This is the editable document. Then I want to add some products. I can just start typing the code, for instance, and then I get the result of all my products. Okay, iPhone 5, going to have 20 of those. And the unit price is this, the sum is that, or I can say 20% discount. It will also calculate all this for you. On the more field here, you can see that the hard disk size is also available now for me, because I configured it in the admin client stating that this extra field, number 1, should be hard disk size. Save and add new one. Also, if I had multiple price lists, I can specify which price list or product catalog I want to search in. Now I just do everybody. You see if we have...
Can you type the name there? Not just,
Yes. If you take this smart TV, that was a subscription that I specified in the product catalog. Okay. How many of these smart TVs are you going to sell? 10. For how many months? 12 months, that's a year of course, but it will calculate based on the unit price that I specified in the product catalog, which was 40 euros per month. Then it will do the calculation. So this is very popular if you have rent or leasing or so forth like that. You can specify that also in the product catalog. Save. As I specified on these sale types, I can also provide alternatives for the customers because I've explicitly set that checkbox. So I can just click on this plus sign and create new alternatives. More products, for instance. Create a new or copy with the existing products. Now I want to create a new alternative. And then you can add more products. Do the white one, 20 of those.
And as you saw from the admin client, he has in fact 2 price lists, but the one he's choosing from now is the Euro price list. It will only be provided with the price list regarding the Euro you select in the sale. So you won't be given the prices for the Norwegian price list when you're having a sale in euros. That's why.
So I can say that, okay, this iPhone 5 white, this is going to be my preferred alternative that I want to present to the customer. Also, this is the alternative that will be in the forecast on the sale. So the sale amount will be based on the favorite. Okay, I want to send this offer to the customer. Click on send. And then I have default valid to 7 days. I specified that on the sale type. I can override it if I want, saying, okay, 12 days instead. What is the default layout of this quote? Quote details. I specify that also on the sale type. Are you going to ship this quote to another country? Okay, then you can specify the language if you have a quote on that language. You can send this as an email, or you can just create the PDF file if you want to. If you don't want to send an email, just create the PDF and send it afterwards. I don't know, but you have the opportunity to do that. Create a follow-up. And hit OK. Now we will actually merge the original quote document with the quote details and present me one fully fledged PDF file containing all information. Dear Linda, and here you will see all my product lines neat and fully put into the quote with thumbnails if you want to be a little bit more glossy. And also, this is things that you configure yourself in the template.
Can you configure if it should be a thumbnail image, or if you want it bigger, or you decide the size of the image?
That's a really good question for the session tomorrow.
The answer is you get thumbnails one size.
Yeah.
With URL, so you can go to the product details.
You could merge into URL, yes. Whether the PDF reader will recognize it as such and activate it, we'll try.
Don't close it, don't close it, don't close
What?
it.
Yeah?
The smart TV thing, it was 40 euros for the next 12 months.
Yeah, there are some wrong input fields there, the calculation. So, you think about the total here or the
What I
discount?
was thinking is, let's say phone companies, they sell contracts. You buy an iPhone 5 and then you pay 300 Danish crowns every month for the next 6 months. Will you be able to handle that kind of thing in this quote?
The calculation in the quote?
Yes, and how will you be able to, as SuperOffice is today, if you are selling contracts, you will have to, if you would like to do reporting on it in pipeline in SuperOffice, you will have to create 6 sales, one for each month, 300 Danish crowns, as it is today. But will you be able to handle this in a smart way? If when you say 40 euros, 12 months, will it then divide the 40 euros for the next 12 months, or how does it work?
No?
No? Thank you.
One question is it locked to PDF or could it be Word or Excel spreadsheet?
No, this is not PDF. We create this automatically when you send the proposal or the order confirmation.
Yeah.
And also, you see that in the email, it also put in the 2 default documents I explicitly set on that sale type. Okay, you need to have documentation 1 and 2 added. And also here's the default email text that you can configure, of course, based on what kind of sale type and what kind of email this is, if this is an order confirmation or a basic quote email.
Were you able to change the content in the quote, in the Word interface?
Yeah, the basic quote.
If you wanted to add some comments about something.
Yeah, not here, because now you have created it, so you have to go back and create a new version.
I could have done
Yeah.
it.
That you can do if we go back here. I just edit it now, send it again. You can just click on this one.
Okay, so it
You can edit it, yeah, before you ship it if you want. Other questions?
The extra fields, what kind of type of data is this? Strings.
Strings? Yes?
String only.
Only strings.
About the extra fields, I got 2 questions. First of all, what's the reason why we only can have 5? Because 5 doesn't go as far. We have to be
No?
category. For example, if we're selling computers, we perhaps want to know the ROM, the hard drive, it just goes
Yeah.
on and on. So is there a reason why it's only 5? Is it a limit, or can it be added later as well?
There are 2 different kinds of user-defined fields. One is 5 fields, and that's basically random, and there's no reason why we use 5. And then you have a field called extra info, and that's a XML field that you can structure and add as much as you would like. It will be presented in a separate tab in the product. So you can ask ERPs, but they will be read-only.
Okay.
We can ask the ERP system for this data, and will be returned this Excel state that we can format and organize as you want, and they will be presented with it. So that's more user-defined groups. But if you want anything more user-defined groups, that's the file that is out of the box now. We didn't really want to recreate yet another user-defined field concept in SuperOffice, so we are postponing that decision if we will have that.
Yeah, and that actually answered my second question as well, so good work.
That will be that tab extra beside more there with extra info regarding that product line. Like you said, if you sell a computer, if that's a computer with that kind of memory and CPU and so forth. Okay. Other questions? No? On the details here, just to go through that, then you have these payment terms if you're going to pay on 15 days, 30 days, 45 days. What kind of payment type? Is it cash, credit, invoice, and delivery terms and delivery type, express, or you can configure whatever you want. And also on the attachments here, you can also say that you don't want on this quote to have this default document shipped. You can just tick it off if you want. So you see there are a lot of moving parts here in this quote management configuration. Did I forget anything again when it comes in the admin client?
No, I don't think so.
See here. Yeah, and of course these will be in all the languages, and you can overwrite the label and the tooltip on each fields if you want.
Can you talk about the individual access on each product?
Thinking here? Yeah. If you, for some reason in the settings or the configure products there, have stated that name is mandatory, okay, then you can go in the SuperOffice product and say that you should overwrite field access on each product. Specific, yes, of course. And then you can start configure even more in depth. And you can also say, okay, should this be mandatory? Should it be edible? Then you have a lot of mandatory discounts. That's good for business.
So you have it both on each specific product and on the total as a whole on the ERP section.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When placing the order in the ERP system, here showed us that it set the sale to 100%.
Yeah.
But it did not mark it as complete. Is that a preference somewhere?
No.
Well, it's not a preference. I think you should read that as a wish. And I would tend to read that when I place the order, it will say finished. Completed.
Yes.
Completed fact.
Exactly, because otherwise it will not distribute your
The point for Martin is that the same process might not be completed, so maybe you have some follow-up after it's completed, so maybe it doesn't do that.
Okay.
Are there any news in the selection area so you can search for quality parts or something like that?
Yes, in the release candidate it will be, but not in the beta 2. You should be able to search on products to find, okay, which customer has bought these kind of products and so forth. You can have a selection on it. That's in the release candidate.
Another question.
Yeah?
If you are, if you do not have the brewery to approve a quote, let's say the discount is too high for my level of approval,
Yeah.
will I be able to send it to an approval guy with an email or some smart function in SuperOffice, or will I have to tell him?
You have to call him manually, or you can send an email manually,
Okay.
or you can do a selection of all approved quotes. What's the question there?
Yeah, is SAP's for mandatory and eligible is not for user group or anything like that, right?
No? Hmm?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Wish, Eric. You noting?
Yeah, that's another customization level that we might want to drive also. We can of course change the business logic in the connector that we provide and override it with that solution. But today it's not per user or per user. It's a basic idea inside lots of SuperOffice thoughts that it's not normal to default have rules that varies between employees when it comes to you should be able to give this price but not you. It's more like all for one for all IT things.
Yes?
In the earlier session, he said that it was not available in travel mode, but you said that you could install some
For read only. Not for creating quotes, but to read them. Yeah. Other questions? How many is going to participate on the hands-on training on both quote and ERP sync? Good. Because you need to just dig in and get your hands dirty when it comes to this. Because it's not easily done on the first session. So download the beta to start working with it. We're going to do it tomorrow, of course. Yes, we're here to answer questions if you have any. Okay.
We will also provide, tomorrow we will hand out some, I don't know when, but as early as possible, hand out some
Images?
Yeah, images on memory sticks, which will contain image with SuperOffice 7.1 with Windows version and web version and customer service. That's what we're going to start with. In addition, the Oracle VirtualBox installer is also on the disk, also the extensions, but you can download it as well. That's a small installer. Yes?
It's just on a disk and it'll be on a USB stick?
It's a USB stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we will get that.
So we'll be handed out before the session so we can start working it. So.
Yeah, floppy.
I think it's okay, other questions? No? Thank you for attention.